Well, hello everybody, it's me, Roger Aladdin Daltrey, and I'm doing yous another exciting unboxing video for yous. And this is actually a different unboxing video because originally I was going to be doing the Paul Simon, the complete albums collection unboxing video, but I'm going to save that for when my birthday comes, because my birthday's in 10 days time, and so while I'm waiting, I thought I would do yous the Simon and Garfunkel, the collection box set. Because I am a huge fan of Simon and Garfunkel, and if there was an exact definition of magical music, Simon and Garfunkel is the exact answer. So anyway, Simon and Garfunkel, the collection. Now, I bought this box set about 4 years ago, and this box set contains all of the 5 Simon and Garfunkel albums plus a live concert DVD, which is pretty cool. So there's the back for you. It's pretty much the same as the front. So let's just get into it. You take the lid off. I like the lid, by the way, it's pretty awesome. Put that there, and then the first thing you get is this booklet right here. So basically the booklet has basically, first of all you get a picture of S&G, and then you get the albums in here. And what's pretty cool about this booklet is that it shows you the songs, and they even show you what date they were recorded on, which is pretty cool. And there's Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel. Art Garfunkel is definitely one of my all-time favourite singers, and Paul Simon is one of my favourite songwriters of all time as well. That's pretty awesome. So anyway, that's the booklet. I don't know what I'm going to do with the booklet. I'll put it over here for now under the lid, just to stop it from falling. Right, now let's get started into these records. Now, I've listened to these albums loads of times. I can also tell you, they are just magnificent, as Simon and Garfunkel are. So this is the first Simon and Garfunkel record, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. And then there's the back cover for you. And what do we have on here? And this album has a lot of good songs in here. The ones that I like on here include You Can Tell the World. I think that's a really good song. I even love Last Night I Had the Strangest Dream, which to me is a bit of a similar title of Last Night I Had a Dream That Somebody Loved Me. And that is a song title by The Smiths, coming off the 1987 record, Strange Ways, Here We Come. Which is a pretty good Smiths album, but it's not up to par with the first 3. And then when you keep Strange Ways, you get a song title called Strange Ways, and that's a song title by Kiss, from the 1974 record, Hotter Than Hell. Which to me is one of the greatest closing tracks ever to an album. Not just by Kiss, but of all albums. Because I love the heavy distortion in it. And I like Peter's vocals on that. Peter Criss does a good job on that, but some people were thinking that it wouldn't make sense to save it for Gene Simmons. But Peter does a good job on that. And speaking of Kiss, they even performed on Bleecker Street as well in their early years. That's why on this album here, from Wednesday Morning 3 a.m, we have a song on here called Bleecker Street, and it's really good. It's a very magical tune, and the vocals are just brilliant. And they also do a demo here of The Sound of Silence, but I'll talk about that on the next record in a moment. And I even love Pretty Peggy-O, that's pretty good as well, and Bob Dylan does a cover of that on his 1962 self-titled debut. And speaking of Bob Dylan, Simon and Garfunkel do a cover of The Times They Are Changing, which the Bob Dylan version is on the album The Times They Are Changing, and we all know that that is a fantastic track. And Rolling Stone magazine ranks the Bob Dylan version at number 59 on their 500 Greatest Songs of All Time. And also Phil Collins does a good cover of that on 1996's Dance Into the Light, which is the first album Phil Collins did after leaving Genesis, 4 years after the We Can't Dance tour concluded. And even I do a cover as well on my YouTube channel, which you can all check out. And yeah, there's some other good songs here as well. I do like The Sun Is Burning. That's a pretty nice tune. And what I'll do is, the discs are actually a bit weird looking. I'll just show you a sample of it. And they're in this kind of like envelope card, which is a bit odd, but what can be done? But anyway, so that is that album for you. Tossed over there. You know, Simon and Garfunkel are very influenced by Bob Dylan as well. That's why Paul Simon is actually up there with Bob Dylan as the best songwriter of all time, and Leonard Cohen is second to Bob Dylan and Paul Simon only in terms of influence to Paul Simon, but Leonard Cohen is definitely second to Bob Dylan, I can tell you that. So anyway, on to the second record here. Can you guys guess what it is? Nope, I already spoiled it in the video for you. It is Sounds of Silence. I mean, really good title track. I mean, the title song, Sounds of Silence, is awesome. And I really love that song a lot. And my dad actually told me that that was his favourite song of all time when he was younger. Up there with Hurricane by Bob Dylan from Bridges on Desire. And also Piano Man by Billy Joel from the album Piano Man. And nowadays his favourite song is Bob Dylan's Desolation Row from Highway 61 Revisited. And I have to admit, Desolation Row is an epic song, but it's brilliant lyric and it's brilliant performance as well. And even with Desolation Row, it's like saying Desolation Angels, an album title by Bad Company, which I don't have at the moment in my album collection, but I'll be getting it soon. But anyways, so what do we have on here? What else? I like Leaves That Are Green. That's a really good song. And it has a very Bob Dylan influence kind of sound to it. What else do I like on here? I love Cathy's song. That's just a magnificent tune. And I do also like some other cool numbers on here as well. Like I love Richard Corey. That's pretty good. But the two tracks I like on here a lot are April Come She Will, because I love the guitar playing by Paul Simon on that, and Art Garfunkel's vocals are just magnificent and magical. Because that's the thing, when it comes to voices, Art Garfunkel is the exact definition of magical voices. But I don't think he has the best voice in the world. The best voice in the world is obviously from Freddie Mercury, because at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert, everyone was changing the keys to those songs because people, they just can't do a Freddie. Like, even I can't do a Freddie either. Like, if I sang at that tribute concert of Freddie Mercury, the thing was though I would have to be being alive back then. I would have to sing those songs into a really low key to accommodate my voice. But anyways, I also love, and the other track I like in here a lot is I Am a Rock. I mean, what a song that is. And I Am a Rock is a bit of a similar title of Like a Rock, a song and album title by Bob Seger. And he basically nails it, Bob Seger does, as he does in his younger years. However, I am very impressed with his latest album, I Knew You When, but I don't think he does a good cover of Leonard Cohen's Democracy. Not because it's bad, because it is a bad version, alright, except for the sound of the drums in that. I also do think that nobody can sing like Leonard. If you're going to sing like Leonard, folks, try and play the songs into a higher key to accommodate your voice. Because if you're doing Freddie Mercury, you'll have to take them down to a lower key. But anyway. And a funny thing was, on the bonus tracks here, I thought the track Blues Run the Game was actually on the original album, but guess what? It isn't. And I thought it was, and I have to admit, it's a pretty good tune on that record. I think it should have made the final cut for this album, and then this album would be top notch. But it is a top notch album overall. And yeah, because to be honest with you, the theme tune in that, the music of Blues Run the Game, is a very similar title. There's a very similar melody to the Nancy Wilson tune We Meet Again, which is actually from the what do you call it now? Oh yeah, it's actually similar title to Nancy Wilson tune We Meet Again, which is from the Jerry Maguire soundtrack. And that Jerry Maguire soundtrack has an incredible alternative version of Bob Dylan's Shelter from the Storm, which is from the Blood on the Tracks album. And that album does have a few other great songs on there as well. It's got some songs like it has the Bruce Springsteen tune Secret Garden. It has two Paul McCartney songs, Sing Along Junk and Mama Miss America. And I think Mama Miss America is from his 1970 McCartney record, which was the first album he did after the Beatles broke up. And that album, of course, had Maybe I'm Amazed on it, which is considered as a fan favourite. And the Faces covered that for the album long player. I'll just see if I have it here for you so I can show you. They play it, they cover it on this album right here, long player. You can see it on track 5 there. And the funny story was, I think it was Rod Stewart or Ronnie Lane that stated, alright, now here's one you may all know, you may not know it, and I'm telling you, if you don't know it, I really don't know where you've been. So you should know the tune. Here we go. I think for people who don't know, maybe I'm amazed. I think they're on drugs for not knowing it. And yeah, and there's some other good moments on there as well. Like some other good tracks there, including it's got Elvis Presley's "A Pocket Full of Rainbows," and there's also and then there's also Neil Young's "Word on the String," which comes off the 1975 record "Tonight's the Night," which is also a song titled by Rod Stewart from the album "A Night on the Town," and "Tonight's the Night" is also a line mentioned in the Leo Sayer song "Moonlighting," which is from the album Another Year, and you take out the ing, you get "Moonlight," which is a Bob Dylan song from Love and Theft, and put in "Madness," you get "Moonlight Madness," an episode on the Aladdin TV show, because again, Aladdin is the man, the best musician, best cartoon character of all time, and just the man of everything. And as I said before, the TV show of the same title is my #1 favourite TV show ever, as well as that episode being one of my all-time favourites. And speaking of Aladdin, he and his band with Homer, Shrek and Wallace have 2 tracks in there as well. Just give me 1 second, I'm going to get something from here. Because they have 2 songs on that soundtrack, and they are the Live at Leeds version of Magic Bus, and I'm telling you, they do Aladdin, Homer, Shrek and Wallace just give it a blasting performance of that. And Aladdin's harmonica solo on that is awesome, just as Wallace kicks in on his drums going like that, and then you can hear that, and I love Homer's guitar going. I like Homer's guitar on that, but I love Shrek's bass a lot going on this. I'll use my guitar here as bass, so he's kind of going. Actually, no, I don't think it's that. I think it's like, hold on, just give me 1 second. I think it goes. No, that's My Generation, because that song has the My Generation riff whenever those 4 guys played live, and then again after a while you can hear some cool things going on. Even the instrumentation, and again Aladdin's harmonica solo on that is awesome, and then Wallace's drumming on that is awesome, going like that. And then hold on, I'm actually going to turn my chair around a bit, and then when I'm finished talking about the review, I'll go back to Simon Garfunkel. It's just I'm taking a bit of a break for the moment. So for example, so basically Wallace was then kind of cool on his drums, like going. And then you can hear Shrek's bass going. And then once again, you can hear Aladdin's basically straining scream, going wow. He kind of sounds like a cat wailing there, and then he's like, and then you can hear Wallace going like that, and then you can hear him going like that, and then Wallace is like, and then you can hear him going like that, and then when he hits the final stroke, you can then hear Aladdin's harmonica going like that. I'm telling you, those 4 guys kick ass on that. And then they also have Getting in Tune as well from Who's Next. And it's pretty nice, actually. Getting in Tune is a good song from Who's Next. And I have to admit, every time you hear the piano playing by Nicky Hopkins, he does a good job on that. And then Shrek's bass going boom 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 boom. He's pretty good, because again, Shrek is the man on the bass, with Homer as the man on guitar, Wallace as the man on drums, and then Aladdin as the man of everything. It's insane. Everybody's just insane on that. And then the last track on that record that really stands out to me is the song is by a group called His Name Is Alive. Still moving in, still staring out, and it's pretty good actually, that music. Anyway, I've rambled enough on that, and then on bonus tracks on Sounds of Silence, they actually do a good cover of Barbara Allen, which the Everly Brothers had covered, and even Bob Dylan covered that during the in 1980 during the Saved era, I think, which is pretty awesome. So anyway, now we got all the fun stuff out of the way. Now we're back to the serious topic here. So next up is their third record, and probably to me their breakthrough album. This is Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme in 1966. Sound of Silence is also 1966, and Wednesday Morning 3am is 1964. So what have we got in here? So we have, of course, Scarborough Fair. I really like that song a lot, and to me it's kind of them doing their version of Bob Dylan's Girl from the North Country, which has the same lines in there. Remember me to one who lives there, because she once was a true love of mine. Basically, Simon Garfunkel plagiarised it. And, by the way, Girl from the North Country is from the freewheeling Bob Dylan and also Nashville Skyline, but a re-recorded version with Johnny Cash, one of the best country stars of all time, if not the best country star of all time. And then I really do like Scarborough Fair a lot, and basically, as I said before, the status quo song Hard Time from Rocking All Over the World, which is a John Fogerty song from his 1975 self-titled album, they took the words to from the Beatles song Drive My Car with the "Asked a girl what you wanted from me, she said everything love can't see." Same opening lyrics to the song, so now it's kind of like, what? There's something like, that's not Drive My Car, and that's not even the Beatles. The Beatles don't even have that status quo sound. Like, too much plagiarism, guys. Can we just reference things? Thank you. Anyway, I like Patterns on here. I like the guitar playing as well. And I think Cloudy's okay. It's not one of my favourites, but I like it. But I like Homeward Bound even more because of the suitcase in my hand. And that's from the Sweet Jane song from the Velvet Underground on the album Loaded, and also the opening few messages in Give Me Some Good Times by Lou Reed on Street Hassle, and as this here is Street Hassle's 40th anniversary. And and also when you think of Sweet Jane, it's also like saying Rainy Jane, a song titled by Davy Jones on his 1971 self-titled album. Because again, Davy Jones is one of my biggest music heroes, up there with Paul Williams from the Temptations, Paul Stanley, Phil Collins, Bob Dylan, Booker T. Jones, David Bowie, and then of course Aladdin. Because again, Aladdin is the man, the best musician and best cartoon character of all time, and probably the sexiest man as well. I'm just kidding. But definitely the best looking character in the world, I can tell you that. And I even love Feeling Groovy as well, and Paul Simon hates it, however, because I remember reading an article one time, I don't know if it was an article, but somebody told me that Paul Simon was singing the words to a song and he forgot the lyrics to them and he felt a bit embarrassed by it, so he said, I'm going to play you a song now that I don't like or I hate. And what comes up? Feeling Groovy. And Feeling Groovy is a really nice song. And I like Flowers Never Bend with the Rainfall, that's awesome. And For Emily Whenever I May Find Her is very magical, and again, what can be said about Art Garfunkel? He is just magnificent. And he basically is just awesome. And despite the fact that Rolling Stone magazine ranked him as the 86th greatest singer of all time. A bit too low. I would definitely put him up higher because, as I said before, he is one of my all-time favourite singers and he's just awesome. That's why Simon Garfunkel are definitely up there as one of my favourite artists of all time. And I absolutely adore on this record A Poem on the Underground Wall. Because Poem on the Underground Wall just has the best lyrics ever in a song. You know, the last train is nearly due, the underground is closing soon, and in the dark deserted station, restless in anticipation. Like, just brilliant lyrics. And probably my favourite written lyric of all time, along with a line in the Genesis track, I know what I like in your wardrobe from Selling England by the Pound. And then maybe It's Alright Ma, I'm Only Bleeding by Bob Dylan on my favourite Bob Dylan album of all time, Bringing It All Back Home. And there's some other great songs there as well. Definitely this is the best from their first three, and this album is number 208 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time, I think. But I will double check and let you know in the future. Anyway, so we're almost done. We have 2 albums left to talk about. We have, of course, Bookends. I mean, I love this album cover. It's very cool, and this, of course, this album is having its 50th anniversary this year. So what have you got on here? I love "Save the Life of My Child." That's a really nice song, and I love "America" as well. And in fact, Yes do a cover of that as one of the bonus tracks on "Fragile," and also and the single version is one of the bonus tracks on "Close to the Edge." And I absolutely love Mrs. Robinson. In fact, that was the song that got me introduced to Simon Garfunkel, because I was in England one time, I think when I was 7 or 8. I think I was 7 or 8. Yeah, I was either 7 or 8, and I heard Mrs. Robinson, and I was like, wow, that is a good song. And I just love the dee 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 dee. I mean, just brilliant. It's just a magical tune, and I like the live version that Paul Simon did on the solo, going, "And here's to you, Mrs. Robinson." And the way he sings it is very nice as well. And this was actually the theme tune from the picture movie The Graduate, because around this time Simon Garfunkel had The Graduate out at that stage. And to me, I really like the last 2 tracks in here as well. Like, I love "Hazy Shade of Winter." That's really awesome, and I even love "At the Zoo." I just think it's brilliant. I mean, this to me is a phenomenal album. I mean, just love it. Like, no bad tracks on here. It all just flows so well. So anyway, that's that record for you. I think this is number 131 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. I could be wrong, but I'll double check. And then, last but certainly not least, we come to the epic, the magnificent, the magical, the brilliant, the one album that everyone needs to have in their album collection. Well, I think, to me, it's a must-have in your record collection. I mean, come on. "Bridge Over Troubled Water." I mean, what an album this is. This, to me, is a masterpiece of record. If you haven't heard this, I wouldn't even say go to a Simon Garfunkel compilation. I would say go straight to this record, because this is fantastic. So, and this album is number 51 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. It definitely deserves to go very higher, even in the top 25, definitely. And I like it. So what's we have here? I love "Bridge Over Troubled Water," the title song, and the title song is number 48 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time, and it's just magical. And the best moment in that song by far is the "Sail On, Silver Girl," and the way you hear Art Garfunkel going, "Like a bridge." Now, I can't do it because I can't sing like Art, but after he sustains the "I will ease your mind," I mean, that is just magnificent. Who could sing that now? Come on. And if Paul Simon sang that solo, it wouldn't be the same, because you need to have Art Garfunkel to do that. And that, to me, is a song to finish up in concert with if you perform Simon Garfunkel music. And let's see, what else we got in here? I love "El Condor Pasa." That's a really nice tune, because I love the "I'd rather be a sparrow than a snail," and then "I'd rather be a hammer than a nail," and then "I'd rather be a forest than a street." You know, I kind of would feel the same for those as well, because at least with a forest, it's very quiet as well, whereas a street is very noisy, and being a sparrow is better than a snail, and of course being a hammer is better than a nail. And let's see, I love "Cecilia." That's one of my favourite tunes on the record. However, I hate the beat to that song, but when the singing comes in, it really steals it. And "Cecilia" to me is very similar, has the same kind of syllables of saying the Phil Collins tune "Sussudio," the opening track from "No Jacket Required." You know, I'll give you an example of going "Sussudio," then "Cecilia." Do you get it? Leave your comment below if you think they're very similar syllables. Yeah, I mean, just brilliant song. And one of my favourite moments in that song is the "Making love in the afternoon with Cecilia up in my bedroom." And Making Love is also a song titled by Kiss from 1976's Rock and Roll Over. And then In My Bedroom, when you take out bed, you get room, you get In My Room, which is a song titled by the Beach Boys. And let's see, I like Keep the Customer Satisfied. That's okay. It's okay. Not one of my favorites. And the same for So Long, Frank Lloyd Wright. That's an okay tune. I think it's alright. But I just love The Boxer. I mean, just a magical tune. However, Paul Simon, I heard, was very embarrassed of the lie la lie, as was I, because I just think the lie la lie bit is a bit weird. But I like the snare drum a lot, and The Boxer is quite possibly my favorite Simon Garfunkel song. I mean, I just love it. It's brilliant. I love Simon Garfunkel a lot. And then we have Baby Driver. Baby Driver is pretty good as well, and Baby Driver is also a song titled by Kiss, which comes off which also is from 1976's Rock and Roll Over, and it's one of Peter Criss's awesome songs on the record. But I personally prefer Hard Luck Woman because of the balladness. And for those of you people who don't like Kiss, listen to Hard Luck Woman, and then you'll finally like a Kiss song. And also, Garth Brooks did a cover of that as well. And Hard Luck Woman was going to be given to Rod Stewart to record for Footloose and Fancy Free, but then, but I think Peter Criss did a good job of that. And since Peter had the kind of raspy voice like Rod, they figured he should sing it, and which is pretty good. And also, Baby Driver by Simon Garfunkel. It's actually the music to me is very similar to the Queen song Crazy Little Thing Called Love, which is from the 1980 record The Game. And actually, hold on, wait, I have The Game right here, so I can just show you. I can just show you the Queen record The Game here. I'll just turn it around for you. I'll try not to drop it. And there you go. Crazy Little Thing Called Love. The music to Baby Driver is so similar to the music on Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Sorry about that. Yeah, and also The Game is also an episode on the Aladdin TV show again, because again, Aladdin is the man. The best musician, and the best cartoon character ever, and best TV show ever. And The Game is definitely in my top 10 favourite episodes of the Aladdin TV show of all time. And maybe close to the top 5. But I'll see. Maybe soon I'm going to do a rating, reviewing, and ranking of all 86 Aladdin episodes, and then rather than having to combine it all together into one video, I can then probably tell you my results at the end of the series. But I'll do that in the future. But anyway. Now, the one track that I think is not that good is The Only Living Boy in New York. I just never get into that song. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people out there like it. I don't. But anyway, and so before we get into the topic of that song, New York is also an album titled by Lou Reed, which features a song called Busload of Fate, and also Bob Seger covered that on the new album by New UN, with a cover of Leonard Cohen's Democracy from the Future, because again, I don't like that cover of Democracy except for the drum sounding. And then of course New York is also a song titled by U2, which comes off the 2000 record, All That You Can't Leave Behind. And in fact, one of the Paul Simon solo albums came out in the same month as All That You Can't Leave Behind. I'll tell you which one it is when I do the Paul Simon Garfunkel unboxing video for you. So anyway, why do I not like The Only Living Boy in New York? Because of the when they sang that, I remember I almost cried when I heard it. Maybe if they played it into a lower key, I would have liked it even more. But if you guys out there like it, I respect your opinion. I'm not going to criticize you for liking it. It's just, I don't like it at all. But I like Why Don't You Write Me More because of the music to it. And the music is so similar to the Beatles song Oobla Dee Oobla Da, which is from the 1968 record, the Beatles' White Album. Because again, this year is the 50th anniversary of the Beatles' White Album, as well as the 55th anniversary of With the Beatles, which came out on the same day as the Beatles' White Album. And Why Don't You Write Me is like saying, why don't you write me a letter? And Write Me a Letter is also a song title by Aerosmith from their 1973 self-titled debut, which is celebrating its 45th anniversary this year. So the question is, where did all that time go for Aerosmith? I don't know. But it's pretty good, and Why Don't You Ride Me is a very humorous song. Probably to me, the most humorous Simon & Garfunkel song ever. But it's really good because I do like it a lot. And I like their cover of the Everly Brothers' Bye Bye Love. And Leo Sayer did a cover of that on the bonus tracks disc 1, I think, on my Leo Sayer box set. And they actually have live concert in there as well, and I have to admit, they sing it brilliantly. And I love Song for the Asking as well. Just a magical way to end that record. And this is just a masterpiece of a record, and even though I don't care for The Only Living Boy in New York that much, it doesn't mean I hate it or anything. Like, I'm telling you, I don't hate any Simon & Garfunkel song, and I'm telling you, on this record, there are no bad tracks on here. This album does everything for me. Absolutely nothing bad to say about this record. Fantastic. And if you haven't heard this record, go check it out, please. It's my desire for you, because this is just brilliant. Anyway, that's it for the Simon Garfunkel records, and then, to finish it all off, we have Simon Garfunkel, the concert in Central Park. So, they do live versions of Mrs. Robinson, Homeward Bound, America, Scarborough Fair, April Come She Will, what else they do? Bridge Over Troubled Water, The Boxer, Old Friends, Bookends, Feeling Groovy, and Sound of Silence. And the other songs are Paul Simon's solo songs. And this was actually recorded after when Paul Simon did the album One Trick Pony. And that's going to be in the unboxing video when I do it. This was recorded live on September 19th, 1981, which was actually one day after Genesis released the album Abacab, which to me is probably my least favourite Phil Collins Genesis record, maybe because of ABBA in the title, because again, Agneta is gammy, and then when you look at women, you look at Jasmine, or you look at Linda Larkin, and you've seen perfection, and then what do you do after that? You go, oh. Whereas Agneta, you go, bleh. But anyway, that was when ABBA released The Visitors, and thank God that album was the last. Because, do you know who likes ABBA? My aunt, my uncle, and both my dad and mum. They wish they could join the group, but they can't because they're Irish and they're not married to each other. And do you know who hates ABBA? Me. And I'm telling you, because for example, like Simon & Garfunkel are a million times better than ABBA, and Kiss are 1,000 times better than ABBA. But anyway, so that's the Central Park for you. So anyway, that's it. That's the Simon & Garfunkel the collection unboxing video. This band they are just a masterpiece of a group. And let me know in the comment section below what you think of Simon & Garfunkel, and then I will see you sometime next week for my birthday, which will be for the hopefully for the Paul Simon Complete Albums Collection unboxing video. I'll see you then. Bye.